Hi, I'm Scott Patsko here with Robert Rozboril, and week 3 of the high school football playoffs is upon us. We're going to get into all that in just a moment. Before we do, I want to remind everybody that our picks contest, our playoff picks contest is still going on, and there's still a chance to enter. The weekly prizes are $100, and at the end of the season, there is a $500 grand prize. Pretty easy, just sign up and pick games each week, and the more you pick right, the better chance you have of winning. Although I got to be honest, I think the real prize here is being able to beat the staff writers in your picks.
Of course.
I mean, I think
Well
that
said.
goes without saying, and a lot of people are doing it. But anyways, make sure you take advantage of that. Week 3 of the playoffs, we have 13 teams playing in 9 games, and 3 of those games are rematches from earlier in the season. We have Kirtland and Cuyahoga Heights in Division 6. Kirtland won that first game. We have Benedictine and Toledo Central Catholic. Benedictine won that matchup. And then we also have also in Division 3, St. V and Archbishop Hoban, and Hoban won that first round match. When you look at these 3 rematches, do any of them jump out and tell you that maybe the outcome's going to be different this time?
You know, I think Kirtland Cuyahoga Heights has the best chance of, having a different outcome. You look at both these teams, they both defend the run very well. Kirtland also likes to run the ball a lot. They have Joey Bates back there. They can pass it too. They got David Alchin, who can, has a lot of catches this year, everything. But Cuyahoga Heights really has a great passing game with Brett Lowther as quarterback and, wide receiver Dylan Drummond. I think that there's a really good potential for them to be able to, utilize that and be able to get past Kirtland this time. Cuyahoga Heights, they defend the ball great up the middle, and if they can figure out a way to stop Joey Bates and force Kirtland to try to beat him through the air, I think there's a good chance they could do that.
Yeah, and it was a close game the first time. I believe it was 2 points.
By 2 points, yes.
Difference. So my choice is St. Vincent St. Mary against Hoban. It was 24-7 in the first game. Neither offense played particularly well. They both had under 300 yards of offense. Hoban's defense kind of dominated that game. The difference I think that could perhaps be this time is the play of Dom Davis, St. V's quarterback. He had 2 interceptions in that game. One was a big pick six, and those were 2 of his 3 interceptions for the entire season. They obviously got pressure on him and forced him into some of those situations, but I think coming into this game, in the idea that you learn more from your losses than perhaps your wins, I think they take that and make sure that they give him time to do the things that he can do, because obviously he can also hurt you with his feet as well. I'm not saying I'm 100% confident that St. V pulls off the upset in this game, but I think out of those 3, that's the one that kind of sticks out to me as possibly being different this time. So when we look at some of the other games, are there any, what's, I guess, the most intriguing matchup of the rest of the playoff field this weekend?
Well, I got to go with Hudson Mayfield. I'm actually going to be coming out to that game and seeing how it plays out. Hudson, as everyone knows by now, has a fantastic defense, one of the best in the area, arguably. Roman Moreno has done a great job. He's one of these guys, he can rotate, he can play up on the line, he can also drop back to linebacker, and he's also great running the football on offense too. We've seen him, he's tough to bring down. Jackson Parker at quarterback, not what you'd call a big, deep ball guy. He's not gonna air it out a whole lot, but he gets the job done. Like you said in your story earlier this week.
Yeah.
He just he'll run the ball. He's run for over 500 yards this year. He finds ways to get things done, and they got a great offensive line. They got 2 big guys, 6'6" guys, and David O'Connor and Greg Robinson blocking for him. Then you look at Mayfield, and they've got just tons of athleticism. They're they're a little bit of the opposite of Hudson. I mean, Hudson's got some athletes, like, we've seen Matt Restifo break off some good runs and, after the catch and whatnot.
But they're more grinded out.
I would say so, yes, definitely. You look at Mayfield, they got Canginelli running the ball. He turned his ankle a bit last week, but fortunately, it looks like he's going to be good to play. I talked to Larry Pinto earlier this week. He said, "Oh yeah, he's going to be fine." You got Gage Biken catching the ball, and they can play defense too, and they can also kick. I mean, they won it on a last second field goal last year. So there's a lot of different ways that they can score on you, and they can get things done. So Hudson's defense is really going to be put to the test this week.
All right, for me, the one that I think is most intriguing is St. Edward and Euclid, a game that I don't know if anybody really saw. When you look at where they started from this season with the changes St. Edward had and the players they lost, them getting back to this point, and same with Euclid, obviously coming in with the new coach and hadn't been in the playoffs since 2009. So, but here they are. St. Edward, number one team in the state, number one team in our final top 25. But the last few weeks, it's been kind of shaky. They had to come back from an early deficit against Hoban or against Moeller. They had to hold off St. Ignatius in week 10. They had the halftime deficit against Cleveland Heights. And then last week it was 13-10. They were leading Menor going in the fourth quarter. They've obviously answered, the call in all those games. But I think some people look at them as maybe kind of being on shaky ground. Are they ready for an upset? Who knows? With Euclid, this is a team that's kind of just been building, I think, and has kind of gotten better and better. Their transfers, David Wright, Javon Avery coming in, doing very well. Obviously, Anthony Johnson Jr. in the secondary as well have been keys to this team. But just the physicalness of Euclid, their ability to run the ball, their ability to play good defense, especially in the corners and the secondary, has been big. I think this is a really intriguing matchup in the fact that Euclid has the ability, they beat Menor, or I'm sorry, they lost Menor. They had the lead on Menor late, and they kind of lost that. I think going into this game, they kind of seem to be going in opposite directions. So this is the game that St. Edward kind of puts it all together, and we have to wait and see and find out. So anyways, those are the intriguing games to us, and obviously we talked a little earlier about the rematches and how we saw those going. Let us know what you think. Do you think one of the rematches is going to have a different outcome, and what's the game that you're most looking forward to this weekend? Be sure to leave a comment in the section in this post, and we'll see you next week.